All right, y'all. I think we watched enough true crime, police chases. Let's get into some sports, man. I see Kyrie Irving here reacts to Katie and Steve Nash talking about what happened in Brooklyn. Let's see what happened in Brooklyn, y'all boys. Come on. I promise y'all, like my Wi-Fi is not this bad. I don't know why.
When you think back to our time in Brooklyn, what do you think of?
I had just signed that deal. You had just signed the deal. But I feel like we were secure, but everything else around us was going in.
That bucket
And not in a
hat's
bad
fire
way.
that
We
Kyrie
got
on.
we got GMs going to other teams. We got coaches going to other teams. We got players forcing trades. We got bringing Ben Simmons. He's back. Like it was just so much. I had just signed that deal. You had just signed the deal.
Clarity here, all right?
But I feel like we were secure, but everything else around us was going in.
So when he says
And not in a
this,
bad
right,
way. We got
and it's obviously, again, I didn't take this personally. right?
everything else around us was
So when he says this, I'm not taking that personally. It was a lot going on around all of us, right? But how Steve ended up becoming our head coach, I'll let Kay answer that, right, when he's ready. But I already had my own thoughts on how the coaching situation was going to go, right? I felt like there were other candidates out there that could have definitely been our head coach that had championship experience. I think Steve had championship experience in his own way, in his role that he played in Golden State. But in terms of being a head coach, I had my own thoughts, right? And I'll
Hold
get
on.
into
I just remembered something. Didn't who did Steve Nash take over for? Or wasn't it? Or wasn't it? Fog. But then who was the one? Um, who's Dallas's head coach again? I'm blanking right now. I can't remember his name. I can't even spell. No, not Dallas. The Mavericks, bro. Mavericks. Jason Kidd. Yeah, Jason Kidd. I don't know why I was blinking. I thought Jason Kidd was. Bro, what the heck? Why am I? That was 2013. Why am I thinking? Oh my gosh, never mind. All right, so what did Kyrie mean by
that
that?
later in my documentary, but I'm just saying I had my own thoughts. And when Steve became our head coach, he even admitted to me that he had his own reserves on coaching me, and I had my reserves on him being coached by him. So we had already hashed that out, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, yeah, it was all easy around just everything in Brooklyn. We're one of the most watched teams now because we have all-stars, MVPs on the team. We are in New York City, in the media capital of the world. You just got to walk a little bit different. And I wasn't ready to walk that walk. And I don't know if I can't speak for them, but there was a lot going on, just not within the team, but just Brooklyn in general, the Nets.
going in.
You know,
Not in a bad way.
I didn't feel like it was going to shit, but I felt like there was just a lot of structural change happening that was very quick. And he's coming off an Achilles tear. You know what I'm saying? He's coming off an Achilles tear, right? And he's trying to get back into who he is. And I'm like, I'm ready now. This was a season I had my 50-40-90 where Steve is head coach. You know what I'm saying? We're having a great season, but at the same time, everything is just pretty much like easy, right? Everything's pretty much easy. Like everything's easy, everything's going. And then we trade for James and everything starts, improving and things of that nature. But during that season, I had a breakdown where I went through some things at home, went through some family stuff that I had to address, right? And I ended up not going into work for a certain amount of time, and I got killed for that, right? And everybody was like, yo, where's Kai at? Where's Kai out? And in between that time, Karras, Jared Allen got traded, and others got traded. Torian got traded for James. Not for James, excuse me. We ended up trading Karras, Jared, and then we got James, right? And then it kind of just started, like, think about it. Think about when you get James, Kyrie, Katie on one team, and then you add in all the other complementary pieces. It just, for your first year, your second year, that's impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's impressive. No, again, when I had my 50, 40, 90 season, did I want to leave the team the way I did? Hell no. But again, I take my accountability for not being in the greatest space mentally, physically, emotionally, you know? So I didn't know how to even express that to them at the time. Like, yo, this is how I was feeling. This is what I'm dealing with. It was just kind of like me, isolated, being recluse. Like, y'all don't really understand what's going on. So
We
I
got
get
we
it.
got
I get it.
GMs
That's what I'm
going to
saying.
other
I get it.
teams. We got coaches going to other teams.
Yep, and he's talking about coaches going to the team. Ime Udoka literally went to the Boston Celtics after coaching with us.
Wow.
That was crazy, bro. You know, that was crazy. We had Ime Udoka literally go to Boston the next year.
Wow.
I mean, like, you had coaches leaving other teams, and it wasn't anybody's fault. It's just opportunity. But we're in the same division. Can you imagine going against the coach that literally saw all of our strengths and weaknesses, and now we're playing against them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
crazy.
Boston was ready for us. Ime had them ready, had the Celtics ready, dog. When we played them in the 2022 playoffs, shit got wild. Shit got wild, y'all. For sure, shit got wild. So we had a lot going on. Katie is right. That's what I'm saying. When I said I'm gonna address this on stream, it literally was just about doing this and having fun with it and letting people know. Okay. You know, letting people know like what it is. That's all. It's a minute
We
37.
got players forcing trades. We got bringing Ben Simmons. He's back. Like it was.
All right, so I'm not gonna lie to you. So when we traded James for Ben, right? That whole Nets Big Three era. By the way, Nets World. You probably won't give me any credit, but Nets World, that's definitely something that I came up with. But it's okay. Nets World probably was existence before I came up with. That's fine too. But when I started calling it Nets World, everything like that started going up. All right. So when James got traded for Ben, I don't think we knew the landscape of where Ben was at, right? I don't think we knew where Ben was at. So when that trade happened, it shocked a lot of people. It shocked me. I was talking to James one day. I'm like, shit, bro, we about to go win these championships. And it was like a day later, asked for a trade. I was like, oh.
That's crazy.
Shoot. Okay. Shit like that now. Okay, I can't be mad. I'm not going to ever be mad at someone doing what's best for them. Right? And shout out to James, right? And I've had my conversation with James, and I told him, I said, bro, I understood completely. I understood completely what you were doing, man. I understood, like, you're in the middle of the season, you're unsure about what I got going on, you know, you don't know what the next portion of your career is going to look like. You know, things are going on, so you have your questions, you know, what contract you're going to get. Because we're all max deal players at that point. Me, James, and Kay are all max deal players. Mm-hmm. We are all worth whatever we're about to get paid, right? I'm going to say that out loud. But when that happened and we got Ben, a lot more pressure started to come in on our franchise. Because now not only do we have this going on, but also we have a situation that Ben is dealing with where everybody is trying to micromanage the spun narrative. Like, he's doing this, he's doing that. So it wasn't a fair trade at the outset, right? It was not at all. I didn't feel like that was a fair trade. But at the same time, when it happened, he went to our division. He went to Philly. So not only did we lose Ime Udoka, and then we lost one of our assistant GMs, but we lost James to Philly. Yeah. So we're in the same division with our brothers. You know, and they know everything that we got going on. So when you spend a season or two with somebody, you're gonna know their habits, you're gonna know their strengths and weaknesses. Mm-hmm. You know, that, and I just I'm grateful that all of this stuff is just business, you guys. Basketball is not meant to be this harmful, violent, you know, like he said, she said type of eventful space, bro. This is not Love Island, y'all. This is not Real World. This is not The Shore. This is the basketball, like the NBA drama space. It's not real drama, you guys. It's not. I'm here to tell you that. Now, it may seem like guys don't get along because guys may be misunderstanding people's moves or what they do, or, you know, something. Of course, some certain situations are different. They're serious. But I'm saying the basketball drama that's created, like, look at them going against each other. Look at them. It looks like they don't like each other. It's like, bro, in competition, if you're my brother and you were just with me, rocking with me, and we were supposed to win championships together, we had these higher expectations, of course I'm going to try to knock your block off. I'm human. You know what I'm saying? It's a business at the end of the day, but it's entertainment, dog. It's like NBA, maybe that equal, like that little equal sign to WWE sometimes, bro. Like people get it messed up in their minds, living out these characters and these nicknames. It's just not it. It's not it. I don't live like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to talk about these things in a very I won't say in a very friendly manner, because in business ain't shit friendly, but you know, these are my brothers at the end of the day, you guys. These are people I care about. I care about their families. I care about them succeeding. I care about them as black men. I care about them as young men, or older men as well, like in terms of just how we have made it out of, we made it out of nowhere damn near, you know what I'm saying? And we've been part of the renaissance of the league being worth billions of dollars. So of course, like, we're going to have our spats, we're going to have our shit, but when things like this occur,
Just so much
stuff going
it's
on.
all good, y'all.
around us. I feel like
By the way, and mind you, I'm aware that they've had a few drinks as well. You know, so I'm not judging this too hard. Like, I've drunk wine before. This podcast, I feel like Bob Braun is meant to be more casual, and everybody else kind of, you know, this is kind of everybody just feeling comfortable speaking on things. But hey, it's always time and a place, and I
we were
respect it.
locked in on the same page and understand, like, well, we're trying to do something special here. But and I felt like your hands were tied a lot because you had to, as a coach, you got to deal with so much.
Nah, he's not lying about that. I will commend Steve Nash for dealing with all these things as a coach. He did his best, man. He did his best. What you know what I'm saying? He did his best. I'm gonna just leave it at that. He did his best.
I didn't get to coach as much as I wanted to.
That's what it was. I didn't think we didn't get the full Steve Nash like I wanted, like you probably wanted. I just felt like it was just too much, too many distractions in a way, and you know you can't win that way. But I felt like we had great intentions, though. I felt like we cared enough. I felt like every day we were trying to push towards winning the champ. It was a great vibe in there. It was some of the best times. That first year, that's why I signed that deal.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad that he said this, is because that first year that we were all together was really special. It was really special. We had veterans, we had young guys, we had we literally breezed through the regular season. You know, it was so easy. And I gotta give everybody their flowers that was in that locker room, because we really came together at the right time. You know, I get injured, James gets injured in those playoffs. We don't know what could have happened, right? We only played a few games together, all three of us, and we were 13-3, I believe, right? But it's just sad when we look at these times,
I think that was the year.
and they're like,
KD's
well, this
foot
was a
on the
failure,
line.
without the proper context to how
right
all
here.
of this,
Hold on.
all this.
I remember that. KD was wearing these sneakers right here the year his foot was on that line when they missed the playoffs. That was crazy.
Ended up happening. You know, it's real people involved in this. It's not for play.
Let me pull those back out.
Right, I say it's entertainment, right, and I'm saying it's a business, but also tied into that, we're real human beings dealing with trying to do something very special that comes with sacrifices that no one will appreciate, except for the people that you in war with, you know what I'm saying, or you're going to battle with. Things happen, right? Those playoffs, if KD's foot doesn't, you know, hit that line, or if I don't get injured, or if things don't work out differently, you know, maybe we're sitting here multi-time champions. A few of us got MVPs. You know, I got an MVP. Things work out. Of course, we could play the hypotheticals, but dealing with fact, it was a tough environment for all of us. I will say that. It was a tough environment. It wasn't just for them. It was for me too.
First year, man, most fun ball I had. Some of the most fun ball I had playing my whole life. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Brooklyn a lot. I love playing for Brooklyn, but it's just so much
stuff happened
around.
And I pray that one day, right, we all get to sit down, and I hope it's for my documentary, then we get to talk about this time more openly, because I think even as I watch Bron sit there, he knows that a lot of this stuff was happening, but also him being in LA, he had his own thing going too. So this is giving him clarity on what happened, but it's also coming from just KD and Steve, and there were a lot of parties involved in this. And some of the other parties that are involved probably won't ever speak on it, but you know, eventually I will.
Around the guys that were committed to the situation. I felt like we were committed, but everybody else wasn't. It just was weird.
This was the part where I honestly looked at it and I was like, when he said this, emotionally I was like, okay, we're all committed to the goal at the end of the day, but sometimes not everybody's gonna follow what you want them to do. I wish I had my soundboard for this, but like not everybody's gonna do what you want them to do, and I've had to accept that as a human being and as a leader. Not everybody's gonna do what you want them to do. Not everybody's gonna be committed the way you want them to be committed, right? And it's not like Kay is asking me for this, but it's like I asked for this commitment before I committed to Brooklyn from him, which was a beautiful thing. I'm like, yo, let's commit to this thing. We could build up Brooklyn. We could really put Brooklyn on the map. You know, nobody's really thinking about Brooklyn. But when he said that, I'm like, bro, Steve wasn't even in the play yet, but this is your man's. This is your man, so I gotta support that. This is your man's. Cool. You want him? Cool. You like Steve? I love Steve. You know what I'm saying? Cool. As a younger brother, I'm like, okay, I don't care. That's fine. You want Steve to coach? That's fine. But when you're committed to the same goal, and then a year changes things, and then things going behind the scenes, like, come on.
But everybody else wasn't. It just was weird.
Yeah, it was weird timing, bro. It was weird for everybody. It was weird for everybody, y'all. You know, and that's what I'm grateful that I've been able to gather all the information and yeah. Okay. Yeah. So again, I gave you guys certain details of what was going on. We watched the clip. That's all I wanted to address on that.
I ain't gonna lie, listening to how Kyrie just responded to that, I feel like he thought KD was low-key taking a shot at him, saying some people weren't fully committed. Because I wonder if that was the year Kyrie got into that situation. Was it that first season or was it second season? 2023, 2020. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was that season. So yeah, he definitely was responding to what KD was saying about some people weren't committed. But I think he's wrong for saying that. KD, he's definitely wrong for saying that. It's not true. That was a good video though. Good video though. I like listening to Kyrie. Kyrie's a very intellectual person. If you guys don't know. Yeah, let's get into some more videos.